Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and welcome to Friday Night Appointment with Fear number 77. Blimey. This week we're doing a movie that's inspired by, I won't say a true story, inspired by events that may or may not have happened. Some of the events did happen because they've been documented, but the meat of the story, I'll leave that up to you, if you believe it or not. We're doing The Entity. A film which everybody I've talked to seems to like The Entity, but it didn't do really well when it was initially released. I think it did better on home video. But it stars Barbara Hershey, Ron Silver, and a few other people we've never heard of. Alex Rocco is in it. And I've seen him in a million TV shows, but I can't think of anyone in particular. You'll know him when you see him. Directed by Sidney J. Fury, who also brought us Superman 4. But among other films, that's who directed it. And based screenplay written by Frank De Felitta, based on his own novel. And Josh Temple's here. Never fear, Maddie's here. Harpoony sharp and at the ready to spear some entities. Oh yes, and Chiggle Wiggle left a comment in the chat a few days ago saying, now this is a disturbing one. And also, I don't actually believe the supposed true tale it's based on, but this is a disturbing film. Now, you may have noticed I've not played the trailer because I'm getting copyright strikes left, right, and centre for trailers, not strikes, but claims for trailers recently. So I'm not doing them. I even got one on me 1975 film video today. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Anyway, so in lieu of that, I've put together, it was suggested to me that I do a dramatic reading of the plot, synopsis. Win Grace, Josh, all the Joshes, basically the Council of Joshes, convened and ordered me to do a dramatic reading. So here it is. Brace yourself. It's only a minute, don't worry. As if struggling to make ends meet and trying to get her life back on track wasn't enough, Carla Moran, a hard-working single mother of 3, finds herself with her back to the wall when faced with an inexplicable supernatural incident. Now Carla is having a hard time telling the difference between fact and fantasy. Unable to find logical explanations, for instance, how on earth has the unseen assailant managed to break into her secured, locked-up home? Nevertheless, the painful bruises in hard-to-reach parts of Carla's body don't lie. And as all attempts with psychotherapy failed, and the late-night paranormal attacks become increasingly violent, desperate Carla has no other choice but to turn to a team of parapsychologists who offer at least hope for a resolution. However, is there an escape from the abstract evil? Above all, can Carla beat the entity? So there you go. That was a dramatic reading of the plot synopsis that you can find on IMDb. I know it wasn't the best written thing, but it'll do. So there we go. Right, so let's get on with the film, shall we? We'll point out, we're watching this, it's a DVD rip. Where's my DVD? There we go. It's a DVD rip. So I've had to edit out certain cheeky bits because, you know, this is an explicit film in places. There's one scene of actual nudity, very brief, but the other scenes of nudity are essentially not real, if you know what I mean. The puppets, a person, you know, a mold of a person's body. But that's but I've had to edit it anyway because you know what YouTube's like. Just to see so much better than some terrible trailer. Oh dear! I started doing that about 7:30 tonight, and it's now just gone 9 o'clock. So I basically rattled it off as quickly as I could. Oh dear. I'll take more time on the next one. Right, so, hang on. Mechagodzilla got you in copyright strike. Well, it did at first, and then basically took that out, essentially. You can still just make it out in the background. But then I got another one for Jaws and Rollerball. So I'm going to have to chop up the trailers. I basically just stick the trailer in the video. I'm going to have to chop it up into like 8-second chunks. Because they don't get you for 8-second chunks, apparently. So I'm going to have to do that and dot them about. In the future, tell you. Not that I make any money out of them, but you never know. You might do in the future. We will see. Right, let's get on with this film, shall we? As I said, it's a DVD rip. I've hard-coded the subtitles in and edited out the nipples, essentially. So let's get on with it, shall we? So let me full screen that baby, and I'll make myself titty tiny. Where are we? There we go. There we go. Before we go, my trailer doesn't get caught, but no one watched it. Lol. Oh, your trailer for I forgot now. Oh, Alien Romulus, wasn't it? Alien Romulus, yes, that's it. Very imaginative. Right, let's get on with this film. Off we go. Right, is it going to come on? Is it going to come on? Here we go. There you go. 20th Century Fox. Off it goes. Remember them? Right, so American Cinema Productions did this. It came out a year after the company went bust, went bankrupt. So there we go. A Sidney J. Fury film. As I said, he's done. He did Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, which wasn't, a highlight of his career, but he's done other things, and I've forgotten. Did he do what they call it? 4 Days of the Condor, or something like that. Where are we? So I'm looking on his Wikipedia page. Iron Eagle. He did Iron Eagle and Iron Eagle 2 and loads of other Iron Eagles. Where are we? Where is it? I could have sworn he said 4 days. Oh, the Ipcrest File. That might be what I'm thinking of. The Ipcrest File. He did that. Is that Michael Caine? I think it is, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And there we go. And other things. And some westerns and stuff like that. So there we go. That's what he's done. Right, so let's continue. As I said, this is kind of loosely based. Oh, there we go. We'll stick that on. On the true story of Doris. I forgot her name now. Is it Bither? Bither. Doris Bither. Who claimed that she was sexually assaulted by a paranormal entity several times, and people didn't believe her, and then a paranormal investigation team came in from the university, proper, I suppose it's called doctors or proper investigators, with a from a university. They weren't like the Ghostbusters. I know they were originally from a university, but you know what I mean. They were coming from a faculty to investigate it, and they did get evidence of things going on in her house. But anyway, we'll get to that. Right, so off we go. The entity. Right. Hang on. I've gone too far. Is it doing silly buggers? Because straight up, I think it makes a mistake. It might be later. Here we meet these Barbara Hershey as Carla Moran. That's the name of the character in the film. I think in the book, not that I've read it, but I think she's called Carlotta Moran or something like that. But in this film, they call her Carla Moran, played by Barbara Hershey, who would go on to appear in another film about a paranormal entity, Insidious. So there we go. So here she is at work. We learn that she's working, and she's also going to like night school to do to learn about typing and stuff like that. So, and she's got a car, but it's a bit of a banger. Here she goes. Adult education office she's headed to. She's doing like secretarial. She wants to do this course. There we go, typing and all that jazz. And then she's going home to her car, And then we see a house there. I think that house is probably nicer than the actual house that Doris Bither lived in, because apparently it had been condemned twice by the city. It were in, the original house was in Culver City, which is I think it's a suburb of Los Angeles. If I'm not mistaken. And it'd been condemned twice, so I don't know if she owned it or rented it or what, but apparently it was described more like a shack, and like I say, she couldn't afford to live anywhere else, but she can afford to have a car. But it's America, I don't know. Anyway, so in she goes. She's got 3 kids, and I don't know if they're different fathers for the kids. She's got like a teenage son. Oh, I think he's about 19 or something like that, or 60. I don't know. It might be. I don't know how old he is. And she's got 2 young girls, and I think they may have different fathers, but I'm not entirely sure. I think they were. Anyway, so here she is. She comes home. There she is, coming to her home. She's looking round, checking her daughters in bed. Look, giving them a little kiss because it's all happy families. These daughters, I think most of the time we either see them asleep in bed, or that she's sending them to bed, or she's dragging them out of bed, running out of the house in the pyjamas. I don't think we ever see them in regular clothes. Maybe at the end. They're always in bed. They're worse than Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka. Anyway, so she's sorting the girls out. She goes into the kitchen. And this could be a clue that something's going on in the house, but I don't know. The lights are on, the fridge door's open. She's got a letter from her son Bill, from the school counsellor. I don't think we ever learn why this is, why she's got this letter. She's to go to a meeting. Anyway, so she's tidying up. Then she goes out. Her son's in the garage working on stuff. And then she's moaning. Dishes on the table. The refrigerator door was open and all that. And he's like, I don't know. So I suspect maybe that's a bit of paranormal activity. A little hint. Behave, princess. Bloody making me jump. Cat just made a noise up there. Anyway, so here we go. She asks if there's been any phone calls from Jerry, who is her current boyfriend, played by Alex Rocco, if I'm pronouncing that right. You'll know his face when you see him. He's been in tons of stuff. Anyway, so we're learning about the letter from the school counsellor. I don't think we ever learn why. I don't know if he's getting into fights or what. I don't know, but he seems a good kid. Anyway, so she goes to her room. And she starts doing her nightly routine. But then, here we go, something grabs her, throws her onto the bed, shoves a pillow on her face. Some invisible assailant starts attacking her. There you go, everything's shaking. And then it's over in seconds. It's over and done within seconds. You can see she's all sweaty, look. And she screams her head off because she thinks she's been, attacked, which she has. And Sci-Fi Quest's here. Hi all, hello. So she's been attacked, so Bill goes running in, saying, what's happened? And she's saying, no, there's somebody's in the house. She's been attacked and all that. The girls are wondering what's going on. So he goes round looking. Obviously, there's no evidence of an assailant, so she doesn't know what's going on. And he suggests she had a dream. But this is him checking the house, and there's nobody there. He said she's had a dream. He said you must have fallen asleep and had a dream, and she doesn't know. She can't understand what's happening. There's nobody there. But anyway, they're all itchy. Cat fleas probably. Anyway, right. So all that's dealt with. So she's going to bed again. Going to have another go this time. And she goes and sits on the bed, and I think everything starts shaking in a minute. She's reading a book. Who could it be now? I don't know. Is that a quote from somebody? I don't know. Everything starts shaking there. She's looking, and it's like an earthquake. But then things start breaking and being knocked over. She's wondering what's going on. The room gets cold. Oh, my! She smells something as well. She's like going, "What's that smell?" Anyway. Revolting Geopsics. Oh, here we go. Oh, I bet this is from Twitch. Yes, it is. First time chat from Twitch. So there we go. Thanks for the offer for promotion of my channel. By the way, we're live on Twitch and we should be live on Rumble. I forgot to do that, didn't I? Let's just check. Make sure we are live on Rumble. Yes, we are live on Rumble. And obviously we're live on YouTube. So there we go. I forgot to mention that. And don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already, and all that jazz. I'll be uploading it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts later on. So there we go. So I forgot to do all that at the beginning, didn't I? Oh, is it a song? Men at Work. All right then. The only song I know from Men at Work is Down Under, you know. I come from land down under. That's the only one I know. Hey dear. Right, where were we? All right, everything's shaking and she's wondering what's going on. So she's panicking. There you go, the curtains get blown in. A lot of air cannon effects in this film. Things getting blown in. So she's screaming again. So she runs out. They don't know what's going on. They didn't feel anything, did Bill and the girls. So she runs out of the house. She gathers the girls up and they go to her friends. It was called Cindy. They go to her house. Oh, actually, she'd forgot the keys. So she runs in, gets the keys, runs back out again. So off they go. She runs over one of the kids' bikes. And off they go into the night. She's going to a friend's house called Cindy. I personally prefer Men Without Hats. They were the safety dance people, weren't they? That's the only song I know by them. Just emphasize, I think it's her cat trying to kill her, as that's what kind of evil creatures they are. Yes. Are you listening, Princess? She's up there. She's on top of my record player. Being naughty. Anyway, right. See, she's at Cindy's. Cindy's played by, I've forgotten, Margaret Bly, something like that. Hang on, where are we? Yes, Margaret Bly, who kind of reminds me of Nancy Allen a bit. A bit like Candy Clark, Nancy Allen sort of look to her. But there she is, look. So she stays the night there at a friend's house or apartment or whatever. So they they spend the night there. Obviously, Bill and the girls are wondering what the hell's going on. But anyway, they go to sleep, and then next up, there she has a little weep. Next morning, they've got up. She's helped herself. Cindy told her to help herself to food and stuff like that. And so she did that. She's telling them, we've helped herself to food, I've made coffee, blah, blah, blah. And then she's saying, what happened at your house? She says, oh, nothing, everything's fine. And then she just says it quietly. She says, I was raped. But it's quite emotional. It did actually set me off a little bit. There you go. So I was wondering what's going on. So she says, she said, did you call the police? She said, no, because there was nobody there. It disappeared. She felt the attack, but there was nobody there. Wingray says, just need a proton harpoon. Oh, yes. If it's sneaky, creepy, and killer intentions, it's a cat. Yes, it is. Or a paranormal entity. So, there we go. So she's saying, so obviously, she's finding it hard to believe. Were you attacked or weren't you? And she's saying it just somebody disappeared and she just can't explain it. Maybe she's gone crazy. So, but then Cindy's husband calls to her, wanting coffee. Oh, Cindy suggests that she goes to the there's a clinic that's a free clinic that you can go to, and won't cost the earth, so to speak. Well, if it's free. But anyway, so I'll think about it. Then she takes coffee to her husband, and obviously the husband's a bit of a dick. He's saying, how long is she going to be stopping here, blah, 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 So the girl, she says, right, come on, we're going. So she bundles the kids out, because obviously they're not welcome there. A friend wants her there, obviously, but her husband's an arsehole. Anyway, right. So off they go. So they go spend the day at the beach by the power station. Or power plant, as you call it. It looks what it looks like, anyway. Bill's eating a burger. The girls are still in the 90s, playing on the beach. And I think that they spend all day and all night there. Well, not all night. They're sitting in the car. She obviously doesn't want to go home. And Bill says, Mom, are we ever going to go home? So they eventually do. They go back home. And she goes in. I don't know if that's the right house number, by the way. I don't know if it were actually number 523. I've no idea. But they go in, have a look round. Everything seems quiet. And, she's wondering, should she go to bed? I think she may decide to sleep on the couch. I'm not sure. Yes, she was going to sleep on the couch. Everything's obviously in disarray from when they left. So she was going to sleep on the couch, but then Cindy arrives in a minute. Sorry, that was Aidan shouting. This could be a short show. It could get curtailed, I must admit, because he's been annoying, is Aidan. The last day or two. Anyway, off we go. Right, so... yes. They heard a noise, so Bill's gone to investigate. I think it might be rats or something like that. Or a raccoon or whatever. It's that pipe. That's it, yes. It's a pipe under the house that's rattling or whatever, when whatever's going through it, water or whatever. So he's saying that's what made the noise. So anyway, she's going to sleep on the couch anyway. And then Cindy arrives. Here she is. Apologising for her husband, so she's going to spend the night with her best friend. So she's saying, I should leave him, but I daren't, and all that jazz. Right, so she says, what's all this sleeping on the couch? So they're both going to sleep in the bed. So off they go, and obviously nothing happens, but is it going to show us? She can't get to sleep, but she does eventually. And then it shows us, you get a close up on the lamp, and it slowly lights up, in a creepy fashion like that, with the wind whistling. Quite spooky, I must admit. I do find this film quite effective, I must admit. Some good spookiness in it. I don't like the attack, when the music they play when she gets attacked, when the entity's around, because it's the same every time. It's and it's annoying. But anyway, I don't know who did the music for this. Who did the music for it? Let's have a look. Music by Charles Bernstein. That name rings a bell. What's he done? I know Elmer Bernstein, but I've heard of Charles Bernstein as well. Is it related? I don't know. What's he done? The Man from Orgy. That sounds fun, doesn't it? What else has he done? Love at First Bite. He did that. Which I don't think I've ever seen. That's like Leslie Nielsen one, isn't it? As Dracula. Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, of course. Nightmare on Elm Street. He did that. That's probably where I know him from. Probably where I know the name from. Right, back to the film. Right, she's got to go to work. That's it. She's off to work. I think a friend's going to look after the kids or whatever. So off she goes. She's going to work. But obviously things go wrong as she's driving to work. The car. Well, we hear the. I'll give you an example. I'll unmute it and just play a bit. There you you go. Does that. Every time the entity's doing its stuff. It takes control of the car, so she can't even, go away from it. It's following her around. It takes control of the car. She almost has a major accident. She does stop eventually. Then she ends up at the hospital. It's where we meet Ron Silver, who plays, I can't remember, I'm like with names. Hang on, where are we? Ron Silver plays Dr. Snyderman, Dr. Phil Snyderman. So she's trying to explain to him what's going on. He's obviously being very nice. He's a psychiatrist. And she tells him her tale, basically. Something took control of the car. She's been attacked by an invisible force, and obviously he doesn't believe it. He thinks it's something, psychiatric, something mental. There you go. He's talking about a man who attacked her, evaporated. But and she thinks there were. I think. It might be later. So we'll get on with that. We'll do that later. This is telling him all about it, the foul smell and all that, and it got cold, all this stuff, and he was a big person. But obviously, he thinks it's a mental condition, something she's basically imagining or hallucinating. So he prescribes her some what they call them, tranquilizers. I think that's what he calls them. Not tranquilizers. It might be. Hang on, let's see. That might be later, though. I think that might be later. I don't know. She does. He wants to do some tests, so she says, okay, she does some tests, and then she goes home. So it's obviously in a taxi. I presume a tow truck took her car home. I think she might have crashed it, actually. And Bill's going to fix it. There you go, she goes in. The girls greet her. They go back to bed. I think Cindy's buggered off home, back to her horrible husband. And there you go, there's Bill. Asking about the car. He can fix it, but it won't be cheap. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't think she has a car for the rest of the film. So she's decided she's going to go get in the bath. It's supposed to be set in 1976, by the way. The actual real-life story took place in 1974. But they're saying this took place in 1976. The film came out in 82. Same year as Poltergeist. It kind of got overshadowed by Poltergeist. Anyway, so she's running a bath, putting the bubbles and stuff in. So off she goes, doing, I've got to be quick here now. I've got to be quick here now. I'll get a brief bit of nudity. I suspect this is a body double because, the lady who's playing the body double of Barbara Hershey, I think is a bit more well endowed than Miss Hershey. But anyway, there we go, just missed it. There you go. So she gets in the bath. And there you go. She's having a nice soak, but then she hears a noise and she gets out the bath, and another attack occurs. It grabs hold of her, throws her into the mirror like that, and it's obviously she's been assaulted again. It's thrown into the bath, the shower curtain. Bloody strong rings on them that shower curtain. Giving her all that. And then something. This is where she thinks there's three of them. She thinks there's two small helpers, and the big one that does the attack. And the helpers hold her hands and legs, which is what we see here. There you go. Something grabs her hands, holds her arms above her, and pushes her legs up, holds her legs down, and all that. So she ends up back in the office of Dr. Snyderman. Saying, so they're going to. A nurse is there to, or another doctor or whatever, I can't remember. Because she's going to show the bruises from the attack. So she's showing them. And bites, there's bites as well. So that's what she's showing there. And there's bruises on the thighs that she's showing him there. And on her ankles. So she's telling him, there was nobody there. It's a supernatural event. But obviously, he don't believe that. Also, we're talking about the small ones, and he says, "What, like children?" She says, "No, they're strong. Like adults. dwarfs. She says she doesn't know, she can't see them. And obviously, these are in places that I couldn't have bitten myself. And then he says, hysteria or things like that can make welts come up in all sorts of places. It's basically just making up diagnoses, in my opinion, because they say anything, don't they? There you go. I've seen cases of hysteria that have raised welts, caused blindness, loss of hearing. Tell you. Anyway, this is where he says he's going to give us some. I don't think he says tranquilize. I think he says something else, and I forgot what. We'll see in a minute. But obviously, he wants to see her again, and it's a psychological problem, and he'll help her get to the bottom of it, and they'll sort it all out. But she needs to get a good night's sleep. It is tranquilizers. Yes, it gives a prescription for some tranquilizers. And he says, they won't knock you out, but they'll just relax you. I think I could do with some of them. Anyway, and it says, don't want her to be alone. It never is. But I don't know. She's got 3 kids. So off she goes. She phoned a taxi that didn't turn up. So now Dr. Snyderman arrives. And so he gives her a lift home. So he asks, can he go in and have a look round? She says, yeah, whatever. He's a doctor. So in they go. He introduces himself to Bill. And then he does the old, because he's a manly man. He knows what the car is. It's a 64. And he says, what is it? What does he say about the 215 or 235? I've no idea what he's talking about. He's talking about the engine. I don't bloody know. But, manly man stuff. We're going to talk about baseball next and football. See the match last night? Hey, hell of a match. Blah, blah, blah. Hell of a game. Anyway, whatever. So he goes in, has a look round. Obviously, he doesn't believe that she's been attacked by a paranormal force, but he has a look round. Sci-Fi Quest. Bloody Twitch won't let me log in. No email associated with account, apparently. Unbelievable. Make sure my Twitch is still going. Yes, it is. Right. So obviously, they still think it's a psychological thing that's going on. Right. So, she talks about her father. Her father was a minister, but he also abused her. So I think she ran away from home or something like that. And she shacked up with somebody, Bill's dad, when she was very young. She got pregnant at 16 with Bill. And then he died in the motorcycle accident. And then I think she met somebody else who was much older, who was the father of her daughters. I think that's what happened. There you go. She ran away to New York and met Mario, Bill's dad. And then Mario died in a motorbike accident. And then I think she met somebody else. What's he going to say? She got married to Mario. Then Bob Garrett, he were on the scene. And he was apparently an older man. And he says, he suggests that, it's like finding a replacement for her father who abused her. But this is what Bob Garrett were about. And I can't actually remember what happened to him. So let's see what it says. But, they just lived together. And he buggered off. Looks like it. He left her. Left her with the kids. And now her boyfriend is Jerry Anderson. And apparently she really likes him. But it still seems like a bit of a dickhead to me. But never mind. But we'll get there. So, she's wanting help. And but he obviously still thinks it's not paranormal. Right, so off he goes. And then she says, he doesn't believe her, but she says, but there's still something here. And there is. Right, so they're having all fun and games. And she goes to there you go. She's going to play games in the kitchen, and she grabs a chair, and there you go. Something grabs her. The thing grabs her. I wish they'd given it a name. It grabs her, throws her onto the settee, couch, whatever you want to call it, sofa, chaise longue, and basically starts attacking her right there in front of the kids. Bill tries to help, and he's thrown away and thrown off across the room. And the stories that I'm not sure what's true. In the book and in this, he breaks his wrist, or sometimes it's described as his arm. And there's some stories that the actor actually broke his arm as well, just coincidentally. But I think the real life investigators, Barry Taff and Kerry Gaynor, I think they said he didn't break his arm in real life. So I'm not entirely sure what happened. But he's hurt himself, and she's been attacked. There you go. Bill's shouting, "Get off, get off," and he's getting thrown off again. And then all the electricity comes sparking out in a minute. When Bill tries helping, he's going to show it. Is it going to show it? Here we see all this blue sparking electricity as Bill's trying to help. Come on, show us it, for Christ's sake. Oh, for Christ. There we go. It goes all Palpatine. All blue electricity coming out of his hands. So obviously the kids know something's up now. Right, so she's gone back to the hospital, or the university, wherever it is, with Dr. Snyderman, and obviously she's telling her story to all the other members of his department, I suppose, his bosses, basically. She tells them her story about what's happened and all that. And so they say, they thank her for the story, and off she goes, send her away. Obviously they don't believe her. But once she's done, they basically say she's doing it to herself, and it's all a fantasy, etc. There you go. There you go. It's all self-inflicted. They don't believe it in their smoke-filled room with pipes and stuff like that, because they don't know what they're talking about. These quacks. Anyway. But obviously, I think Dr. Snyderman's kind of taken with her, because it's Barbara Hershey after all. So why wouldn't he be? But obviously, they don't think anything paranormal is happening. By the way, a lot of split diopters in this film, nearly as bad as Star Trek: The Motion Picture. You can see it there, straight line down there. It's to keep so he's in focus in the foreground, and they're in focus in the background, but you can see the line. I'm not a fan of split diopters. They do me head in. So anyway, they're going to carry on. Right, this is Jerry. She's gone to Jerry's house. She's not at her house now, so I'm guessing Bill's looking after the girls. She's at Jerry's house, and I thought they'd done it, but she says she's not in the mood, and she doesn't tell him, what's happened. She says stuff's happening, but she doesn't say what. But she says she just misses Jerry when he's away, because he works away a lot. But he's saying he's got to go away one last time, and then when he comes back, he's staying for good because he's been put in charge of the LA office or whatever. So, and then he says, we'll be able to be a family. So he's wanting to settle down with her. But I still think he's a knobhead. And he says, going on the road again, and she says, can I go with you? And then he says, what about the kids? He says, I know, it's just a pipe dream, because of what's going on. But as we've seen, it follows her. Anyway, so she goes home. She doesn't want to do it with Jerry, so she goes back home. Excuse me. Checks on the kids, obviously they're fine. Then what happens here? I can't remember. I don't know if she gets attacked again. I can't actually remember. I don't think she does. She gets into bed. I think she just falls asleep. Oh, yes. This is what happens. I've just remembered. My censoring's coming up, I think. I think she falls asleep. There we go. You see a passage of time. It's 20 to 2, and then it's 20 past 3. So an hour and a half later, she's asleep, and then we see she's being fondled by an invisible thing, and she's obviously she's asleep. So she's moaning. There you go. Edit. As you can see, there's something, fondling her boobs. Oh, that was close, wasn't it? I missed a bit there, didn't I? Crikey. By the way, the effects, the body effects and stuff like that were done by Stan Winston. Cool, eh? Anyway, so all this is going on, and she reaches, and so she's disgusted. One's bigger than the other, which is quite common, actually. Oh, it were closer to the camera. Or did you mean my head? Yes. Anyway, so she's upset again, and she smashes her room up because it's tricked her. So she smashes the room. Shouts at Bill to get out. She's just smashing everything up. And there you go. She goes to see Dr. Snyderman again. And then she's disgusted in herself because of what that says there. So, she's ashamed of that. But he suggests that she books herself in, or whatever, is that the right word, into the psychiatric ward for a week or two, just for observation. And, she says, no, I'm not committing myself. He says, it's not that. I just want to keep an eye on you. And says, no, well, it's the same thing. And then he says, well, I could force it, I could force you to spend some time in the psych ward because of the suicide attempt. He says, what are you talking about? He says, when you crashed your car. He says, it took control of it. Obviously, he doesn't believe that. Anyway, but he doesn't force it. Is this where he suggests that she's having fantasies about Bill and the kids? She said there's a big one and two small ones, and he suggests the big one could be in a fantasy. A big one could be Bill, and the small ones could be her daughters. And she's obviously disgusted in that. And I was that later. Anyway, I think that might be later. Yeah, that's later on. Is that? He shows us some pictures of goblins and succubi and incubi and all stuff like that, suggesting that it's all part of the human psyche going back thousands of years. Blah blah blah. It might be this. It might be this bit now, where they have an argument. It's very actory. Is this scene where? It's like almost like a play where they're arguing with each other about it, and he's pushing her, to try and get through to her that it's all in her mind. And this is where he suggests about Bill and the girls being a fantasy, and he pushes her too hard, and so she says you're disgusting and obscene, and there you go, and storms out. And she goes back to Cindy's to tell her what's happened. Just as Cindy and her husband are just going out, but, so he comes in and says, "I'm going, get in the car, we're going to be late," because he's an arsehole, he's one of those sorts of blokes. Anyway, so Cindy says, "Well, you wait here. We've got to make an appearance at this wedding reception, but we won't be long. I'll be back soon." So he says, "You wait here and have something to eat." So she says, "Okay." And then she phones Bill, makes sure he's okay with the girls. Says, "It won't be long," blah, blah, blah. So she waits, she's waiting, and then straight away, all the windows start blowing in. and everything starts being smashed up in the apartment. Remember, this is Cindy's apartment, so she can't get away from it anywhere. Sorry, Wingrace. Never force a woman to do anything. No, no. Especially, commit yourself to a psych ward. Here we go. All the windows are blowing in, and then stuff's blowing up, and light fittings are exploding, and all that. And she's trying to get out of the way. I think the music's going as well. I think we're in the G thing going on. Meanwhile, there goes all. There we go. And they see what's happened. They come running back in because they'd only just gone outside. They just got to the car and come running back in. They see what's happening. They see all, everything's going all doolally. And then they see Carla, down on the floor. She says, "Oh, you're all right." And obviously he says, "She's smashed up the place," because he's an idiot. And Cindy says, "Of course she didn't. You saw it. It was all just happening spontaneously." And they saw it. And so she's all relieved. She says, "You saw it." So she's got independent witnesses. There we go. So this was a bit emotional as well because it set me off. It doesn't take much to set me off. There you go. So, right. So, next, they've gone into a bookshop. Hunter's Books, California's own big bookstores. Serving the West since 1851, it says there. So I just thought I'd read that out. Excuse me. So, they're in the bookstore. I don't know if this is the actual bookstore that where she meets the scientists, Kerry Gaynor and Barry Taff. Probably not, I don't know. But this is essentially what happened, apparently. This is how she met them. They're looking in the occult section. As she's looking there, Cindy goes off to look in another part, the psychology section. And this is the scientists here. Who are they now? I forgot the names in this. Joe Meehan and Gene Kraft. I think Gene Kraft is the I forgot his bloody name now. Barry Taff. I think Gene Kraft is the Barry Taff, and Joe Meehan is the Kerry Gaynor of the story. If you look on YouTube, by the way, I've put a link in the description, by the way, for I think it came on not my DVD, on the Anchor Bay DVD. It's like a 30-minute documentary about, the true story. But also on YouTube, you can look up, just type it in, entity, real story or whatever. And there's like episodes of sightings and stuff like that covered this. So anyway, Hunter's Books, do they also have laptops? I don't know. Is that another reference I don't get? Probably. Probably. Anyway, so they're in, and she's looking for her books, and they're talking about a case, and where you don't get the saying, each case just usually has one thing happening, talking about poltergeists, and you never get a case where there's the horrible smell and the cold spots, and you never get them all happening together. And she stands up and she says, "Yes, you do. There you go. Because it's happening to me." And in this, she essentially just takes them to her house immediately. It looks like that way anyway, because they're here and then they're at a house. But in real life, she gave them. She said, "Can I have your number?" She gave them her number. And then they got back in touch with her. They looked into it and got back in touch with her, and then took a team and all that stuff. Over time, it wasn't immediate. That's a reference from modern. Oh, yes, Hunter Biden and his laptop. Yes, of course. In October 2020, a controversy arose involving data. Oh, yes, Hunter Biden. Yes, I get it now. Anyway. Right, so she's gone back home. She's telling them all about it. Stuff was shaking. They said, "Was it an earthquake?" No, wasn't an earthquake. She's basically telling them, and they are sceptical. They don't really believe what's going on. And in real life, I know Barry Taff didn't believe about he believed that something was going on because they saw things and photographed things, but he never really believed her about the assault parts. Pardon me, where it's attacking. I don't know why. He just apparently never did. I don't know about Kerry Gaynor. But anyway, but they're being sceptical here. So she makes him a coffee. Because they don't believe her. She's telling him about the electricity and stuff. And so she makes him a coffee. So anyway, as they're going, for coffee, as they go past this mirror, it starts shaking by itself. And then everything else starts shaking. Oh, and then there's a horrible smell. And then it gets cold. There you go. Ooh, isn't it cold? They've got to visualise it. So they believe her then. So, right. So we'll get some of our equipment out of the car. So they go and set up some equipment. Right. So they're sitting in a room with her. And there we go. The electricity happens. Look, getting all sparks of electricity. So they start filming and taking photographs and stuff like that. There we go. Cool. Could be a Terminator arriving from the future for all I know. But so they get some photos of that, and she thinks they're winning because it's not attacking her; it's just doing like a bit of a light show. And she thinks it's getting weak. It's not. So she starts screaming at it and saying, "You can't touch us." She starts talking in phrases that sound a bit like her dad. She says, saying words like You've come forth to hurt me, but you can't. And I thought, because she says her dad used to speak in these and thous and stuff, being a minister. But anyway, so she's thanking God. But it's not over. She thinks it's over, but it's not over. There you go. It's a gorgeous day. Oh, it's wonderful. Hey. Anyway, they go back with their evidence. This is their boss, whose name I can't remember, because, I'm an idiot. Where is it? Come on, where are you? Where are you? Oh, there she is. Jacqueline Brooks as Dr. Elizabeth Cooley. She's the head of their department. The parapsychology department, which is part of, the psychology department. There she's asking, did you check the wiring? Could be a short circuit and all that, Smells and cold spots could be, a dead cat and dodgy air conditioning or whatever. But she shows them the photographs, and they suggest, you can just make it out there, I suppose. I can get rid of that. There we go. That is this, an outline of a person. I don't think this is an actual photo from the case, but there are actual photos from the case, but nothing like that. But they're suggesting that's an outline of a person. The entity. I got a chill then. But they suggest that constitutes proof. So, they're going to carry on. She's not totally convinced, is Dr. Cooley. But, she says, keep looking into it. And if you want any more equipment, or any more... what's the word? Resources, let me know, and I'll probably, I may be able to sort it all out. So, here we go. So they're going in now. Dr. Snyderman arrives. Does she live in a cul-de-sac? I don't know, because they're blocking the road. Never mind. Here are all the other students. I presume these are parapsychology students. They're all setting up detectors and cameras and all this stuff. It's a circus now, is Carla's home, and obviously Dr. Snyderman's not impressed. So he suggests he goes speak to Carla. Oh, look, another split diopter. Oh, dear. Maybe it were filmed in a small room. I don't know. They couldn't get a wide-angle shot or whatever. I don't know. But anyway. So he tries to talk her out of all this, but you know, she doesn't want to see him anymore because of what he said before. And he apologises for that, for pushing too hard, but, you know, she doesn't want to be under his care anymore. Another split diopter, look. It's worse than Robert Wise. And he says, well, okay, then, you know, continue seeing me, but you can also see these others nutters as well. But, you know, no, she doesn't want anything else to do with him. So off he goes, and then he talks to Bill, and he says, you know, don't lie to cover up for your mother. You know, don't corroborate her story, you know, because this didn't happen. Bill says, it did happen. I didn't break my own arm. So off he goes. So he goes to talk to his boss, this chap, who is Dr. somebody else. I've forgotten, Dr. Webber. He wants to know, you know, who are these that are, help, you know, these parapsychology people. And well, it's, you know, Dr. Elizabeth Cooley, it's her department. There you go. But they can't really do anything about it. You know, if she wants them there, if Carla's given them permission, they can't do anything about it. They said, well, you could go to the dean. He says, well, yeah, but it could take months. But anyway, they can't do anything about it unless she crosses a line and they can say she's, you know, legally insane. They can't do anything about it. Anyway, so that presumably it's that night back at the house, they were all waiting for something to happen. And there you go, she's saying, come on, show yourself, calls it a coward. And then green lights start flashing across the room. Is it going to show one? In a minute. There we go. Pew, green light. This is something that did happen, apparently. Green lights started moving across the room. And they actually got photos of them. I think, well, I can't remember if it was Barry Taff or the other one, Kerry Gaynor, that said... It was frustrating because they saw stuff happening with their own eyes, but the stuff that they photographed, they didn't see. It was weird. They said, you know, weird. We saw things, but have no proof of what we saw. But then taking photos, they took photos of. They get these like arcs of light in these photos, but they didn't actually see them with their own eyes. So they said it was frustrating. But anyway, so this is where all this is going on. And then it shows itself. This is where she starts talking like her dad. Then you'll come forth to hurt me. But anyway, then it shows itself as like some energy thing. There we go. I'm going to show itself now. There it is. That's something from the Manitou or something like that, isn't it? Remember that film? We did that a while back, the Manitou. But does it turn into a form, a body? No, I don't think it does it? I don't. I thought I saw somewhere that it must be a Mandela effect that it formed into like a human shape, but it didn't, did it? The only really spooky paranormal photo I ever took was not seen by the eye. That's generally the case, I suppose, isn't it? Generally the case. Anyway, but yes, so as I said, they did catch. See if I can find images of it. See if I can find it. The entity photos. Let's have a look. Just bear with me. Oh, here we go. There we go. One there. I'll open that in new tab. Right, and I'll bring that over. Oh, bloody smaller, could it? Hang on, bear with me. There we go. Right, I'll bring that over. So just bear with me. I'll just remove that a moment. And I'll... drag this over. This is one of the photos. There we go. That hang on. Oh, I pressed wrong bloody button. God, I'm an idiot. There we go. It's one of the photos that one of them took Barry Taff or whatever. They're on Polaroids, them Instamatic things, when it comes out. But I'm on one of those, and they took a few of them. And they've got these arcs of light, and they've said you can see that it's actually in the middle of the room. It's not somebody with like a torch shining it on the wall. As you can see, because of the corner of the room, then it'd be bent, wouldn't it? In theory. So they suggest that it proves that they're actually in the air. They said, we had parallax and all that stuff, So that's they think that's their best evidence. There's a couple of other photos as well. So there we go. And any others? See if we can find any others while we're here. Is that another one? I don't know if I've seen that one. I don't think that. No, that's not. That's not from it. You don't know what I'm looking at, but looks a bit overly dramatic. Does that photo? No, there is a couple of other photos, but they're similar to that, showing the arcs of light. Yeah, no others. Right, back to the film. Right. Come on, man. Right. Sploosh. We're off. Right, so they've got their evidence now, the film stuff. She's thinking, is it over now? So she's feeling happier about herself. Anyway, so they all pack up and go. They're quite impressed. Suggest mass hallucination and mass hysteria and all that. They always do, don't they? But they've somehow, that's it, she says there, they've got to recreate these events in a controlled environment, which is what happens at the end of the film. Anyways, they're all going, and all these young people. Jerry arrives unexpectedly. He's back early from his trip, and he suspects she's been having a party, and she says no, they've been helping at the house. They're from the university. She describes them as doctors, and he says some of them looked a bit young to be doctors. He says I haven't been having a party. They've been helping with my sleep. Yes, it's a weather balloon filled with swamp gas. Yes, it is. It's cabbages reflecting moonlight, which is a genuine explanation for a UFO sighting. Anyway, so she's happy he's home. And he's saying, he's back for good now. He's brought some wine and chocolates and stuff. And she's reticent to tell him what's been going on. I think she's saying that they're here to help her with her sleep problems. What's all that for? But anyway, so they almost fall out about it. But then she does tell him about what's happening as she's guzzling down wine. China at it with those bloody balloons again. But she does tell him that she was attacked by a discarnate entity. But anyway, he says he's here for good now. So they go staying this time, and they're going to be a family. So he's brought her a nice silk dressing gown thing. So she says, I want you to try it on. There it is. So I'll go and clean up, and you go into the bedroom and all that. So he goes into the bathroom and gives his teeth a quick brush and all that, and then uses a mouth spray. Immediately, alarm bells going off for me. In that, does he use that a lot? I bet he's got mistresses all over the place. Anyway, he goes into the bedroom and he sees that she's been attacked on the bed. There we go. It's happening again. I'm there with my silly face. She's been fondled and stuff by an invisible force. Obviously, I can't show you. But even though it's not a real body, it's a Stan Winston creation. The US is sending spy balloons over China too, but we can't mention that. Well, no, can't mention that. So she's saying, obviously, help me, and he can't understand. I think he gets thrown off. Yes, he gets thrown off by the entity. Oh, that's it. And he picks up a chair. It's a smasher, whatever it is that's attacking her with the chair. And she moves out of the way just in case. I think he does actually just clip her a bit. Yes, he does actually hit her with the chair. And Bill comes in. He just sees Jerry attacking his mother with a chair. There you go. Anyway, she ends up in hospital. She's got a slight concussion, so I suspect he did actually whack her with the chair. So the kids can go in and see her. And Dr. Snyderman says, he can go in as well if he wants, but he says, I can't be around her. And he says he saw what happened. Obviously, Dr. Snyderman thinks it's still all in her mind. And he describes it to him. Does Jerry? I saw what happened. Fingers were pressing on her skin, but I couldn't see the fingers. That's what he's saying to her. But he's had enough. He's off. So there you go. So he can't cope. So off he goes. But then these two arrive. Go and see her. And and Dr. Cool is there as well. And they've got a plan to help her, but they need her permission to do so, to set it all in motion. The 17 camera. Hang on, what are we doing here? Sorry. It's a weather balloon on its down-facing cameras for observing the sky. Oh, right. 17 cameras are just for monitoring speeding cars to generate tickets. Yes. Don't talk to me about speed cameras. So she suggests that she wants permission to take this a step further. They've got an experiment planned, that may stop the attacks. They don't explain what it is yet. Oh, there you go. They don't go into details, but they want to try and basically catch a ghost. They want to be Ghostbusters. This is 2 years before Ghostbusters came out, but they need consent. So she says yes, okay. So Snyderman's gone back to Dr. Webber to try and get the parapsychology department away from Carla, but there's nothing he can do about it really. But anyway, so we're going to see what they're doing now. They've got liquid helium. They've got a fresh cut rose. They're going to put it in liquid helium, which is 473 degrees below zero. I don't think it is quite that that cold, because I think absolute zero is 473 degrees in it. And I don't think anything can get to absolute zero. Or 0 Kelvin. But it might not be far off. I think even space is something like 471 degrees or 470 degrees, isn't it? So I don't think anything's at absolute zero. Anyway, so he's demonstrating with the rose. So there you go, and it shatters, obviously. There we go. So they're going to try and freeze the ghost. Hang on. What's wrong with speed cameras? I'll be a ghost beater, Kelly. Oh, yes. Is it Supernatural, the Ghost Beaters? I think it is. Or is it Ash versus Evil Dead? I can't remember. One of them, innit? It's Supernatural, innit? Because they did like a found footage episode with the Ghost Beaters, didn't they? Anyway. Right, so there we go. Well, we're seeking to determine if this entity has mass, and if it has mass, they'll be able to freeze it, basically. So anyway, so that's what they're going to do. In the sports, the gymnasium, of the university, I presume. So, Carl has arrived. We learned that somebody's looking after the kids. And essentially what they've done, they've recreated her house in this this area. They're going to show us round. There you go. There's the tanks of liquid helium. There's no ceiling on the house. Ash versus Evil Dead. Oh, right. I'm sure they had ghost beaters, though, in Supernatural, didn't they? I'm sure they did. I'm probably getting mixed up. Did you see that video where a police camera van got stuck in the mud trying to hide the van from motorists? I don't care. Where were we? Right, there's the things with tanks with the liquid helium in. There's no ceiling on the house apart from the bathroom. There you go. Because they're monitoring with television cameras. But in the bathroom there's a ceiling, but it's a chemical toilet, and there's plenty of water and stuff. There's no plumbing, but they can provide water and all that. And there's a hot plate in the kitchen so she can cook stuff. I don't know how long they're expecting her to be there, but anyway. But there's a control room up there. Can you see him? There he is. And me. Where they're monitoring from the control room. There we go. But they're going to, leave her there, and then they're going to show her there's an isolation room. Hang on, let's go back a bit because I've missed it. There we go, an isolation booth. She's got to stand in the corner of I presume it's the living room, and that comes round, and then they use the liquid helium, start spraying that. Oh, but it ghost faces. All right. Ghost faces for Supernatural. Well, an easy mistake to make. Particularly for me. I forgot what I want now. This protected booth, soundproof booth, like on a TV game show. But obviously, if they're going to be spraying liquid helium at absolute zero, she wants to be in a safe area. But they say that they can't start doing that until she's in there. It's like a foolproof safety device that they can't do it unless she's in that area. So that's it. So now they've all got to wait now. So they'll leave her be. Dr. Snyderman, he arrives, but he gets thrown out, essentially. He tries to get her to leave, but, she obviously doesn't want to. So he kicks up a stink because he cares for it. I think he loves her, but anyway. But she doesn't want to. She wants to stay there. She don't want to go with him. So he tries to force the matter in a bit, but he kicks him out. He gets the security guard. Says, "I don't want to see his face in here again." So off he goes. So she's waiting. Obviously, nothing's happening yet. So Snyderman goes back to Dr. Webber. We see another bloody split diopter. A replica of her home. Where's all the mould and peeling wallpaper? Well, it's not that accurate. It's not as accurate as the kid in The Mummy Returns with his models. It's probably not to scale either. Like Doc Brown's town model. Anyway, so Dr. Webber's trying to get through to the dean, and but the dean essentially is all for it. So there's nothing they can do. It's talking about campus politics. Look, so he's gonna go down and force the matter. So he runs in, gets past the security guard, tries to drag her out. Basically, security guard gets him in a arm lock, and this is saying, I don't want anybody to be hurt. But then Dr. Cooley intervenes and says, you can stay, but you've got to watch from the booth up above. Not the soundproof booth, the monitoring booth. So he reluctantly agrees to that. So she calms down. Dr. Webber gets a phone call from Elizabeth Cooley. So she wants him to come down and take, Dr. Snyderman away. So he says, yes, I'm on my way. Right. So she's waiting for something to happen. Then we start hearing noises and creaks and groans and stuff. That's Dr. Webber arriving. He goes up to the booth. Then we see wind starts. Remember, it's in a controlled environment, so there shouldn't be any wind. And then it all starts kicking off. There you go. It gets cold. She's got an ice cube in her mouth. You can tell, can't you? To make breath. And then I think he's doing it as well. Does it? You see him upstairs as well. They've all got ice cubes in the mouth. Sci-Fi Quest says, I've got to watch Three Body Problem tonight after Predator. Yes, after this, I'll pile over to Sci-Fi Quest channel to watch Predator for a live stream tomorrow night with Harris. Hopefully it shows up this time. Cool. Something I was supposed to be watching, I forgot what. Something that's come on one of the streaming services. What is it now? It's not Three Body Problem, it's something else. I don't think it's that. It might be that I'm thinking of. I don't know. I'm sure something else has started as well, and I forgot what it is. Anyway, that's by the by. They're talking about it's got cold all of a sudden, looking windy as well, and then saying he's here. They have, they're assuming the entity's gender. Right, so they're saying to Carla, move to the protected area, and for some reason, she can't. It keeps blocking her path because it takes control of the helium spray thing. So it's basically trying to. The entity is spraying liquid helium at her. Here it comes up. So it's like a sci-fi thriller now. By the way, this didn't happen in real life. What they did, apparently, for this part of the film, when Frank, is it De Felitta, something like that, wrote the screenplay and the book, but when he wrote the book, he went to Barry Taff and Kerry Gaynor, and he said, I want your help, because they were impressed with his book, apparently. But he wanted their help with the final part of the book, because he wanted it to end with how they would have liked to conclude the investigation. If they had like unlimited funds and stuff like that. And so this is what they would have wanted to do, but obviously they never did because they didn't have the resources to do this. So this is kind of a hypothetical situation that they wanted to do it. Anyway, there you go. It's spraying the house. There we go. A little doll's face explodes because of the cold. So, and I'm like, go to the bathroom. There's a ceiling in there. But she does. She runs to the bathroom, and then, as we can see, it comes smashing through the bathroom ceiling in a minute. It does, honest. I'm not lying. Is it this bit? Come on. There it goes. Comes smashing through the bathroom ceiling, spraying liquid helium in her general direction, but obviously not at her because she'd just disintegrate, wouldn't she? She'd be like the T-1000. They can't control it, by the way. They're trying to get control, and obviously they can't. She does get into the area with the soundproof booth. There you go. I think she's in there now. It does close. She got yes, but obviously the amazing glass that's got bloody vacuum, doubles paned with vacuum in it doesn't save because it just smashes. Did the liquid helium smash it, or did the entity smash it? Don't know. It doesn't say. But obviously she's not frozen yet, and then she just starts calling it out. She says, all right, do your best, kill me, whatever, attack me, do whatever you want. I'm not running anymore. because, I'm tired of being scared, and, do whatever you want to me, but you can't have me, and all that stuff. There you go. And it says, you can't touch me. I thought, yeah, I can kill you. But anyway, maybe she means her soul or whatever. But then the liquid helium tanks just explode and start raining down liquid helium. You'd think she'd be dead instantly, wouldn't you? But anyway. Oh, dear. So it all comes sprayed down. So Doc Snyderman goes in to save the day, comes running out, gets her out. Absolute zero, but, they're fine. They even go sliding about in it. There we go. And as we look, she looks back as they're on the floor, sliding about on liquid helium. Liquid looks more like CO2 to me. Yes, that's probably what it actually is. Actually, they use liquid nitrogen. See, I've just remembered. They used liquid nitrogen in the film because it was cheaper, apparently. And it was really hot in the studio where they filmed it. It was really hot. And there were actually real liquid nitrogen in the tanks when they sprayed it out. And so they said, they just used to spray it about every now and again when it got too hot to cool it down a bit. So it was liquid nitrogen they actually used. Turned the helium into heliuc. Yes, it did. So you say, Americans say aluminium, but they don't say, they say aluminum. Why don't they say helium? Just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, she looks back, and there we go. We can see the liquid helium has frozen over some giant form, and you can hear the moaning and roaring of the creature as it's trying to get out of its frozen prison, whatever. There you go. We got entrapped, but obviously not for long, because it all disintegrates, and the beast is out. And I thought we were going to see like a pair of glowing eyes or something in there, but we don't, which I'm a bit disappointed about. But and then it kind of all just fades away. They haven't caught the ghost. So, that basically, we lost him. He's got away. I think it exploded. Did all the ice, and but then Dr. Cooley says we didn't get the ghost, but we got something just as good. We've got witnesses, and she looks to Dr. Webber, and he kind of says, it could have been anything, and she calls him a son of a bitch because he won't own up to seeing something. He says it could have been anything, and she says, you son of a bitch. Anyway, then Carla goes home. She goes inside, and then the entity, it slams the door, the front door. Here it goes. There you go. Slams the front door and swears at her. It's the first time we hear its voice. Anyway, I say aluminium because it's 76% cool. Yes, it is. Aluminium. There we go. That's the beast. The entity says that to her. I won't repeat it, but it says it in like a guttural, growly voice. You can hardly tell what it's saying. If it wasn't subtitled, I wouldn't have known, to be completely honest. Because see you next Tuesday. And then she goes to the door. Before she opens it, there's like a little bit of a smile nearly as she looks. As though she's at peace with it. Whatever. She's stuck with this entity for the rest of her life. There you go, like a little wry smile. Then she opens the door, and then the kids are coming in. There we go, they're all happy. And then, basically, the end of the film. The film you have just seen is a fictionalized account of a true incident which took place in Los Angeles, California, in October 1976. 1974, but whatever. It is considered by psychic researchers to be one of the most extraordinary cases in the history of parapsychology. If you believe that sort of thing. The real Carla Moran is today living in Texas with her children. I don't know where she is now. It might actually say, hang on just a minute, where are we? Doris Bither. She moved 5 times apparently, and each time I think she moved a bit further away from Los Angeles, and eventually, the attacks stopped. Where does it say somewhere? Where are we? I can't find it. But never mind. Yeah, but she did move away. And there's obviously a lot of people don't believe the story, which is fair enough. Some people think the investigation wasn't done, in a proper way, but I don't know. They were from the university, weren't they? So, and to this day, Barry Taff and Kerry Gaynor, if Kerry Gaynor's still alive, I don't know. They stand by their story. So, but anyway, there we go. That's the end of The Entity. Hang on. Make sure. The attacks, though decreased in both frequency and intensity, continue. Maybe they did at the time of this film came out. I don't know. But apparently they've stopped now. Actually, I don't know where she is now. I don't know if is she still alive. I have no idea. Let's have a look. Doesn't say. I'm looking on the Wikipedia page for the incident. But anyway. Based on Bither's story, his own observations and the photographs, Barry Taff, concluded paranormal phenomena must have been involved, calling the case a haunting. Reviewing the case 4 decades later, investigator Benjamin Radford concluded the case likely involves a distressed family, poor investigation techniques, and confirmation bias. It's probably from the Skeptical Inquirer, probably. To be completely honest, I bet he is. Just a minute. Let me check. I bet he is. One of those sorts of places. I'm just checking. Bear with me. Yes, Skeptical Inquirer. All right. Served as managing editor of the science magazine Skeptical Inquirer. So he had, so just as you've got people believing on one side, and then you've got people like from the magazines like the Skeptical Inquirer on the other side of the equation. Why can't I just meet in the middle? But I don't know. But anyway, so there we go. So that's the end of the Entity, and it's a great film. I like that film. I think it's really good. It's a classy horror film. There you go. Special makeup effects by Stan Winston and James Cagle, I've never heard of. So there we go. Lot of fun. Well, I wouldn't call it fun, but it's well worth a watch. Is The Entity. Right. We'll leave it there. Right, so let's get rid of that. So if you can find it, I don't know if it's on like Amazon or whatever. I don't know. I'll just make myself big again. There we go. I don't know if it's on Amazon or Netflix or whatever. I don't know. I haven't checked. That's it. I've got it on DVD. I don't know if it's out on Blu-ray. I've no idea. But I've got the DVD. Neil deGrasse Tyson asked them to drag The Entity into the town square. Yes, he probably would do, wouldn't he? Can't stand that man. God, and he's been his Stargate as well. That episode with him in and the other fella, what's this, Bill the Science Guy, whatever. Ugh. Hateful. Anyway, whatever. Right. Let's just check it and make sure we're still going. Make sure no messages on Rumble. No, is the wreck. And just that one from what is it? Revolting Joe Par 6. So I'll read it out. What the heck? Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of your channel. We get a lot of those on Rumble as well. It's one of those sorts of thingy. I like Kaku. Yes. Michio Kaku's a cool scientist. He's like a rock star scientist, isn't he? But he's got an open mind, which is, what you need, isn't it? What you need. Don't keep it open enough so your brain falls out, but keeps it open enough. Just Thames, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. I'm off to go home. Yes, you have a great weekend too, Josh. Thanks for keeping me company, along with Wind Grace and Sci-Fi Quest. Is that all we've had? Where is he? Revolting Joe Parsix. Or Geo Parsix. Oh dear. Right, so what's coming up next? Sunday I'll be doing my sketching. I haven't decided which drawing to do yet or whatever. But that'll be Sunday, be sketch time. Monday, magnificent Monday this week is Total Recall. We'll be getting our asses to Mars. Consider that a divorce. Great as always, Steve. Take care later on. Yes, and in a few minutes, I'll be going over to Sci-Fi Quest channel. Go subscribe to Sci-Fi Quest. Blah, 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 if I can say it right. Go subscribe to Sci-Fi Quest. He'll be having a watch party of Predator. And go subscribe to Windgrace's channel because he puts cool stuff up as well. He don't have watch parties, but he has cool, funny videos because he's hilarious. But that's it for me for now. So we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, don't have nightmares. Look after each other. And until next time, I'll say there.